I've had a few requests from people who were curious about how I actually constructed my layout. And it's pretty simple. I just made it out of two hollow doors. And the hollow core doors are extremely noisy. So I covered them with Homosote. And you'll see the Homosote right here at the top, the rough surface covering these hollow doors. And the hollow doors themselves are sitting on these little stands, what most people call sawhorses, and they came from Harbor Freight and were quite cheap. I think they were like 36 bucks a pair. And you can see all my junk piled underneath there. That's what's really great about a layout, is you can stack all your crap underneath it. And get back onto the hollow door here. You'll see one piece of the hollow door was from an old portable layout, and I ran that diagonally to the other piece, so it could come out and give me a 1 by 3 foot section of and make it into a test bench. So what I've got is an 031 loop that goes all the way around, and then I've got an 027 loop inside that, and then of course I've got my little reversing streetcar loop inside the 027 loop. And behind the streetcar loop you will find my siding, and there's a lot of stuff in there. It's kind of hard to see. Right behind the chicken coop and the billboard, there's the siding that used to be connected to the 027 loop. However, the Marx switches, the automatic switches, were unreliable, and they would sometimes open from vibration. So I had a few derailments, and I said, heck, I don't really do that much backing up of trains or coupling, so I really didn't need the switches, so I simply put some straight pieces of track in there. Also, I simulated the old-time Lionel store sets that you would see when you went into a department store by simply painting the top of the Homosote and with a Rust-Oleum almond, pardon me, we call them almonds here in Chico. Everywhere else they're called almonds, colored or beige paint, non-gloss. And then after that dried, I used this American Accent stone in the green color. This, all I have left over at the moment is the gray they use for streets, and painted that over the top, and it really looks like the old-time Lionel store display where they put glue the grass on top. So that turned out really nice. I'm really pleased. My upper level are two tabletops that were made from, I believe it's just pressed wood, and sold at Home Depot quite cheaply, and they're 36 inches across, and I trimmed them down. You can see they're trimmed down here on the side, and they're trimmed down on the back, so it's only about 32 inches across, but they're absolutely perfect size to hold a 031 dog bone. And for the longest time I simply had this dog bone sitting on 2x4s, and someone gave me a rusty old Marx bridge. And I thought, I'm wondering if I can put two pieces of track in here. And I was actually able to do that by removing the end metal piece and crimping some of the metal. And since this thing was so rusty, it even had rat poop on it before I cleaned it up, I repainted it and trimmed it down and stretched it out because I thought, well, I'm really not destroying anything of any value. Now on the back of the layout, you will see a 1/2 by 6-inch board. That board is holding the little town. And the trains don't run over that board, so I'm not concerned with vibration. And you'll see what I have on top of the two tabletops. There's the little K-Line Texaco gas station, which actually is more of a diorama than anything else. It's flat in the back. There's nothing behind it. And there's the old Marx searchlight that never wants to turn. And there's the big lizard, I call him, Godzilla. The diner was a J.C. Penney's telephone, and actually played Rock Around the Clock when the phone rang. And I rewired it and set it up for my O-gauge layout. To the far left, you'll see Hoppy and Topper. They're recent additions. Since I'm over there, these are my Marx trains display. Quite a few. I like the lithograph because they're quite colorful. The background is called Lifelike, and it's you can find it on eBay once in a while, and it's made for 027. And this is called the, I believe it's called the Farm or Countryside. Got a few train pictures up on the wall to finish it off. Glare of the ceiling fan lights. And this was an old Santa Fe advertising picture that I got a good deal on. And then you'll see the cardboard stand-ups of course, the Lone Ranger and Tonto. Down below you're going to see a few of my operating devices. There's the ice cream cone stand. Above that there is a light. There of course is my operating billboard. Salmonella's chicken egg farm. A few cars. And an old Marx Lumar diner, not really old, it was reproduced in the 90s. And you'll see the old Lionel newsstand. Once again, there's illumination over that newsstand, and behind all that there's a train whistle. And that's really just about it. It was pretty easy to make. I built it outside, put it together inside. The top of course is held together by the tracks themselves. These two doors that are put together here, and on the bottom there's some strapping brackets, and the back 6-inch wide board that 1/2 inch deep that holds a little town is held together by L brackets attached to the door, and that works out quite nicely. So get down here once again and show you the controls. The controls are all on a rolling cart. Not really great light here, And the rolling cart actually rolls underneath my layout to get it out of the way. And I'm using one Lionel ZW, and can't remember which one this is called. This is one of the more modern Lionel transformers, which I run my outside loop with. I believe it's 80 watts. Funny, I can't remember what it's called. And here's a very cheap Lionel transformer. I got it from my test bench because I like the fact that most of the guts for it, otherwise the power supply, go down below and plug into the extension cord. I've got my test meter set up. This is actually a Mike's Train House section of track with bumpers on both ends for my test track. And if you can see this little wire here, I try to keep the contacts separated. I use that for testing trains. And I can always use the drawers of the rolling cart for my tools. So that's about it. And that's the ugly part underneath. And that's the nice part up above. So all in all, pretty cheap to make. I already own one door from a portable layout that I tore down. I purchased another door, purchased the homosote, and then purchased the two tabletops. And all the track here is recycled. All of these accessories are recycled from another layout. So for me, it was pretty cheap to build this thing. So I hope this helps people understand how to build a simple layout. These sawhorses will hold over 300 pounds. And of course this layout weighs a lot less than that. So I suppose if I wanted to walk across it, I could. I really don't want to do that, obviously. But it's quite strong and steady. There's no wobble to it when the trains go over. It doesn't flex. It's really settled itself down. So that's it. Okay. This has been another Big Lizard production from Chuck.